ladies and gentlemen, I invite our keynote guest, New South Wales Premier, the Honourable Gladys Berejiklian, to deliver remarks accepting the ANC-AU Gratitude Award on behalf of the New South Wales Parliament.
Thank you, Garnia, for that warm introduction. And can I first also start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we stand and pay my respect to elders past and present. And can I start by acknowledging all of my parliamentary colleagues who are here this evening from all political parties, from both houses. I understand you were acknowledged before I arrived, but I can't tell you, and I speak now as an Australian Armenian, how deeply proud I am that all of you have taken the time to share this very special evening with us. I have an Armenian background, and as you would know, if you have Armenian heritage, it is not just your duty but your obligation and your responsibility to pursue such important issues. But for all of you, you do it because it's an important human rights issue. You do it because it's important to our community and for our voice to be heard. So I just wanted to ask all of the members of Parliament to please stand so we could officially acknowledge everyone. Can I acknowledge both Jonathan O'Day and Hugh McDermott, who did a sterling job this morning. And as Jonathan was speaking, it reminded me of the delegation we all attended together in Armenian-Australian. And on that journey, from those people in the room, Jonathan was obviously in attendance, as was I, as was David Clark. And there are other members of Parliament who accompanied us on that occasion as well. And all of us, and I think we wear it as a badge of honour, we're deemed now to be enemies of the state of Azerbaijan. But in any event, that was an experience we highly valued about going on that delegation together and experiencing firsthand what the contribution of the New South Wales Parliament had meant to the people of Armenia and to the people of Artsakh. But ladies and gentlemen, I also wanted to take this opportunity to acknowledge those trailblazers in 1997 who took the unprecedented step when it wasn't fashionable, it hadn't been done before in Australia, actually had the courage to acknowledge the Armenian Genocide. And I refer, of course, to Peter Collins, who is here this evening, and Bob Carr, two leaders of two opposing political parties who came together in a bipartisan way and really allowed the Parliament not only to feel comfortable but unanimously adopt resolution accepting and acknowledging the Armenian Genocide. And of course, alongside them were also Michael Photius, who was instrumental in multicultural affairs in New South Wales at that time, as was John Watkins. And I want to acknowledge those four gentlemen who really led the way. Also, I'd like to acknowledge all the community leaders from communities who are also so active and vigilant on human rights issues every day of the week, and we acknowledge your presence and thank you for being here. Can I also acknowledge the Armenian community leaders who are here? Aside from the Armenian National Committee, we have Bishop Najarian, Father Susanyan, as well as a number of Reverend Fathers, and I want to acknowledge all of their attendance and thank them for their ongoing vigilance. Obviously, Hai Kaiserian is younger than me because the stories he recounted about his great-grandparents I can recount in relation to my own grandparents. And grandparents who shared their stories with my parents in an oral history, not often talked about in households, but we can only imagine what our families went through, which obviously led us here to Australia and New South Wales. And I'm deeply grateful of the opportunities this state and this nation has afforded all of us with Armenian heritage as a safe haven. And I'm incredibly proud to now lead this state of someone of that background, because I think it does offer an empathy to certain communities who have arrived here after suffering many generations of torment overseas. But ladies and gentlemen, without being too dramatic, let me not underestimate the lengths that denialists go to. And I've only realised the extent of this since I've assumed my position as the Premier of New South Wales. But I had denialists approach me because they found out that I was in the United States representing New South Wales at the National Governors Association recently. And I had a situation where I was approached by them, I haven't shared this with the Armenian National Committee yet, approached by them and they wanted to be in a photograph with me. I assumed to post it on various social media outlets to pretend we were friends and I was therefore supporting their denialism, which was an interesting eye-opener for me that I was pursued on the other side of the world by virtue of the position I hold here in New South Wales. And I just put that on the table because it demonstrates the extent to which denialists still pursue this. But we know that those denialists who deny the facts surrounding the Armenian Genocide do so on a whole range of human rights issues, not just this issue. And tonight we reiterate as a New South Wales Parliament our vigilance in stamping that out, in ensuring that those denialists don't achieve their objectives, and that is in no small part due to everyone in this room who continues to be so active and so expressive about these important issues. Can I also commend all of my colleagues again for their courage, for their compassion, and also for demonstrating to the younger generation here today that there are things in life, there are things worth fighting for where you put aside your political differences and come together, and this has been one of those issues. And congratulations to those trailblazers 20 years ago. Thank you for making the job of those of us in Parliament now easier as a result. And I want to also thank the Armenian National Committee wholeheartedly for taking this opportunity. We don't often thank those trailblazers and those members of Parliament who essentially demonstrate courage on a frequent basis. So thank you for allowing us this evening to thank all those trailblazers and also ensure that our Parliament, not just on this issue, but on many issues, becomes a safe haven for those voices that obviously often don't have a voice. And I'm incredibly proud of that, not just on this issue, but many issues. And I want to again say to all of our community friends that the New South Wales Parliament is always proud of that legacy we will leave successive generations. So thank you very much.